Hi friends, welcome to WafaStudies YouTube channel. This is part 2 in Kusto playlist. In this video, we are going to explore about Kusto Explorer, which is actually a desktop UI, how to install that and what it is and what is the user interface. So to get a high level idea about the user interface of Kusto Explorer and to understand what is Kusto Explorer actually. So it's a desktop tool actually. That means it will be installed in your PC or in your Windows. So that from your desktop app, like for example, if you want to understand, if you want to write a queries and query the data from SQL Server, you will install something called SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio, right? And it's a desktop application which will connect with your SQL Server and then allow you to interact with the data by writing SQL queries. Similarly, Kusto Explorer is one of the desktop tool or it's the only desktop tool right now which will be installed in your system, and using this you can connect with your Azure Data Explorer clusters, ADX clusters, and then query the data of that cluster tables using the Kusto language. Okay, so if you don't know what is Azure Data Explorer and everything, and also if you don't know what is Kusto and everything, right, I am strongly recommending to watch Azure Data Explorer, that means ADX playlist which I created. So at least you need to watch 4 5 videos there and then start the Kusto playlist. And this is the second video, so please watch part 1 video of this Kusto playlist as well, because all the videos in my playlist are in a sequence order that will be have a direct or indirect connection with the previous videos. So I hope you watch them and then come back to this video. So this video, as I said, we are going to understand what is this Kusto Explorer and what is this desktop application. So this desktop application, as I said, it will enable you to explore the data using the Kusto query language, and it is a desktop application. And that data, when I say explore your data, the data which is present in ADX clusters or Azure Data Explorer clusters. Okay. So if you want to install this Kusto Explorer, you need to navigate to this URL. It will automatically start your installations. aka.ms/ke. KE stands for Kusto Explorer. Let me practically show you that. So let's go back to my desktop. Let me open my browser, and here I can say aka/ms/ke. When I hit enter, it is going to start installation of my Kusto. See, it is asking me to open a file that will install the Kusto Explorer. Let me hit open button to start the installation. So let's wait for the installation to begin here. When I hit the install button, it will actually start the installation here. It usually takes couple of seconds actually. So it is starting the installation. Great. We are almost done with the installation. As you can see, once the installation completes, you can see this Kusto Explorer icon here, and also you can see this window which is minimizable, and this is what Kusto Explorer desktop application. And there are different types of panels here. You need to understand that. So whatever you are seeing here, right, from here to here, this is called menu panel actually. So all menu items will be available in this area. So this is called menu panel. Okay. And then whatever you are seeing from here to here, this is called query editor or query panel. So we generally write our queries here basically. Okay. And then below that, whatever we are seeing this area, right? So this is called results window or results panel. Whatever the queries you write here, that query results will appear here actually. Okay. And not only that, you can see we have something called connections here. So if you see here, this is called connections panel. Okay. So in this connections panel, we generally add the connections to our ADX clusters. And we have something called work folders panel here. And in this work folders panel, you can see here we have something called unsaved work, and we have something called tracked folders. Unsaved work means whatever the queries you are currently writing in tabs. When I say tab, this is, so right now this is one tab which opened with a query editor here to write me queries. So this is at this moment not saved into my local system as .kql files. So in SSMS, when you save your queries, it will save it like dot SQL, right? Similarly, in Kusto, when you save your queries, it will save it as dot .qql files. So since this file is not saved in my local, it is coming under unsaved work. If you save, it will come under tracked folders basically. So to get a high level idea, unsaved work is the tabs whatever you right now opened which are not saved. If you save something in your local and if you are accessing them, it will show under tracked folders. Okay, so these are the high level menus, and here let's go back to connections. We need to create a connection first time when we try to query a data. So because data is in ADX cluster database, right? We have to connect to it. So to connect that, you can see here we need to click this icon here that will add connection to cluster. So let me hit this icon here, and once I hit, it will give me couple of settings to fill here. So let's not worry all this. You need to select this other, and here give your connection. That means your cluster name and everything. So if you remember in our past videos, that means in our Azure Data Explorer videos, we have seen Data Explorer Web UI. That means dataexplorer.azure.com URL. So let me open this URL. This URL helps you to explore the Azure Data Explorer clusters using a browser where you can write a queries and everything. We have discussed this in our past videos. Not only that, we have also discussed that when you first time open that, you can create a free cluster like this. Not only that, we have also discussed that there is something called help cluster which will available for anyone to access when they are practicing the Kusto or when they are practicing the Azure Data Explorer. So if in the Data Explorer Web UI, when you hit this add connection, it will ask you to enter this information, right? Enter this connection name like help.kusto.windows.net. So that is the cluster URL, and once you hit the add button, it will try to add that entire connection here. You can see your cluster name in which you have so many databases already provided by ADX team, which is helping you to explore the data to practice or for learning purpose. There is something called sample databases, and under that, under tables folder, we have something called Strum events folder in which we have Strum events table, and we discussed about this Strum events table in our past videos of the Azure Data Explorer. So please watch them. So this table contain information related to the different types of strums happen across the states in United States. Okay, so that's kind of information is available in this table. It's a sample data. Anyone can use it for exploring. Okay, so similarly, like how here we are able to add any connection, similarly we will be able to add connection or we need to add the connection before start exploring it. So for example, I have this free cluster which I created from my ADX playlist. So ADX Mahir text, right? So to this cluster I want to connect. So to connect it, how to connect it? So for that, what you can do, you can go to my cluster, and you can see for your cluster there is a cluster URL. So let's copy this cluster URL, go back to Kusto Explorer, and here provide your entire URL here, and let me give a friendly name or connection alias similar to like this ADX Mahir test. Let me copy this, let me keep that, and now let me hit OK button to connect to that cluster. When I hit OK, it will try to connect to that cluster using my credentials. So let's wait for the connection to happen here. You can see it seems our connection was successfully connected. You can see our ADX Mahir test is already available here. So in past I have connected help cluster also, so that is also available here. What I can do, I can right click and I can remove the connection if I don't want. Okay, so if you do like that, it will get removed. So I can delete any connection like this, right click and remove the connection. That will automatically remove that connection. Right now my connections is empty. So let's add connection once again here by clicking this icon. Let me select others. Let me paste my connection. Okay, so this is the friendly name what I want to give. So let me keep it here, and then let me remove this. Let me keep it here, and then let me copy this cluster URL, the free cluster which I created in my ADX playlist. So I am pasted that. So again, so let me use this friendly name here, and now let me hit this OK button to connect that cluster once again. So once we connected, you can see here our cluster is popping up here, and you can see it is showing both the databases. It has two databases, and when I open each database, I have a different tables here. So in my demo database, I have tables called logs and storm events. In my database, I have storm events table. Okay, so these tables and all we created as part of the ADX playlist, as I said. So for example, I selected this right now, and you can see right now my query editor focus is already connecting to this cluster and this database here. You can closely observe. Let me zoom. See, it is connecting to this cluster and this database already. So if I write any query here right now, it is going to execute in that scope. So I want to execute a query on this storm events table. So let me select that. Automatically intelligence came, right, and I can hit F5 or I can hit this button here to execute my query. Now whenever you enter any table name and hit this run button, Kusto query language, it is like a select query on a table, so it's going to fetch all the rows from the table now. So let's wait for data to fetch here. See, our query executed successful, and we can see here the results. Totally 59,000 records are available here, and you can see here, right, the clearly the data as well here. Okay, so now uh, if you don't want to type this right manually, and in that case what you can do, you remove your table name here. So for example, what you can do is you can directly double click your table names to get them into this query editor. So I am double clicking this. The moment I double click, you see here I got my table name. So you can do that. Not only that, so you can visualize this query results as well actually. So what I want to do, if you closely observe, this is Strum events table data. It has different types of events occurred for different types of cities. So for each city, how many events occurred, I want to take that group by information and I want to visualize it in a chart. So let me show you that. So here from the Strum events table, I want to summarize. That means it's like a group by. In SQL, it's a group by. Here it is summarized by. Summarized by state. So on state column, I want to group by. What I want to group by? I want to group by the count actually. So count of states, and I want to give a alias name for that is event count. Okay. So what this is going to give for each state, how many events occurred, it's going to provide that information using this count function. So let me hit this run button to execute this query, and if you see the results for each state how many events occurred, we are able to see clearly here. Maybe I don't want to take this all states. I want to pick only few states where the count is greater than 1800 maybe. So what I will do here, I will use this pipe symbol again. So this is a sample query only. Let's not worry. In our upcoming videos, we are going to understand Kusto query language in detail, every operator, even this summarized by and everything we will be understanding in our upcoming videos. So here where I am using where event count greater than 1800. So now let me hit this button or F5 button to execute this query. You can see now I got a results for each state. How much is the count? Wherever the count is greater than 1800, I am fetching only that information. So now I want to visualize this on a chart. If you see right now I am under home menu, and you can see under this visualization section, I can select some column chart or bar chart. Let me select this bar chart, and when I click that, you can see it is able to fetch that informations in chart here. And if you see the same results whatever we are getting from this query is getting represented in the visual format here. What I can do, I can click this result to clipboard or query to clipboard or query and results to clipboard buttons. When you click that, it is going to copy your query and results to your clipboard. So when you copy it, you can paste them actually. So let me open a Word document here, and let me quick the paste the results and show you how it appears. So let me take this blank document here, and in the blank document I am pasting whatever I copied. When I pasted, you can clearly see the results it copy pasted as an image. Okay, because it's a visual, visuals will be pasted as a images, and your queries will come as a text here. You can still copy these queries and execute in the clusters wherever you are. So like this, whatever the analytics you performed on your data, you can directly copy that queries and results using this icon. So under home menu, using this copy query and results to clipboard, this is very helpful feature actually in real time. Okay, so not only that, for example, if you have connected here right now, I connected only one database. Maybe in future, if you have connected here so many databases, and you want to search for some some tables here because it is a huge, then what you can do, you can select this connections panel, press Ctrl F, and here search for your table name. So maybe I am searching for Strom events. So when you type here under this search panel, it will start giving the results. Okay. So let's see under this, see, it is listing down, right, Storm events tables under this cluster. It is there at two places here. So under demo database also it is there. See, the moment I selected this table, you can clearly see here it is under demo database. You can see here this table is under database, demo database. Similarly, the moment I selected this second result, you can see here at the bottom. Let me zoom. It is under my database. You can see here, right? So that means if you want to search for any entity or a table, you can directly use Control F shortcut to search for them. Okay. So not only that, for example, I right now I connected to ADX Mahir test my database. So that's where my focus. But I want to connect to help cluster. So as I shown at the starting of this video, when I go to data, sorry, when I go to query, I shown you like how to connect to help cluster, right? So I want to connect this cluster in which I have a samples database. I want connect there, and from there I want to take this storm events table to query. So will it possible? Yes. So first thing to do that, we need to add a connection. If there is no connection also, you can directly use this command whatever I am typing here. So use this connect, then cluster, then here provide your cluster name. So I am using directly help. Okay. Then database. Then here I can give my database name like samples. Okay. So when you execute this query, it's going to directly add connection to that cluster. Okay. So I'm hitting yes. I want to add a connection. And once I hit yes, it will actually add a connection. You can see here it added a connection here under help cluster. Now I have all the sample databases and everything. And when I expanded, you can see directly my selection was under samples database, and even you can see here in the query editor as well, my scope is at this moment for the sample database. You can observe the same from here as well. So that means right now whatever the queries I run here, it's going to execute on top of the samples database. So in samples database, I have Strom events table. So let me execute the same query again. So Strom events table. Maybe I want to take uh, 10 rows from there. So now let me hit this run button to execute this query, and you can see it gave me 10 rows from that table. So that means using this command we can directly connect to cluster and database as well. No need to manually hit this plus icon and connect to the cluster. You can use even this command whatever I written here. Okay. So that's it. I hope you got a high level idea about what is Kusto Explorer. Kusto Explorer is a desktop application, as I said, and this is where you write your queries, and this is where you see your results, and this is where you add your connections. And you want to remove any connection, then select that particular connection and then hit this remove connection button to remove that connection, and hit OK to remove them completely. So this is a high level idea about Kusto Explorer, which is a desktop app, and how the user interface will look like. Please stay tuned for this playlist. We are going to explore the Kusto query language completely with different examples, and I will be mostly using this software called Kusto Explorer only to execute my samples and show you guys. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon to get the notifications whenever I add videos. Thank you so much.